over on ITV at the moment. If you want the hard stuff, the news plus the entertainment stories, then switch on to GMTV. At 9 o'clock here on Channel 4, Bill Cosby returns with another edition of the quiz show You Bet Your Life. And then at 9:30 there will be programmes for schools and colleges, and our strand of programmes called For Schools. That's at 9:30. But we'll be joining S4C's network beginning in a couple of minutes or so with the last ever edition of Big Breakfast, starring Chris Evans before his departure. But Gaby Roslin will continue on in her capacity as co-presenter. So in the meantime, here's some music for you. Now on Channel 4, the time is approaching 7 o'clock in the morning, and it means it's time now to join the Big Breakfast.
It's Thursday the 29th of September 1994. I'm Chris Evans.
I'm Paula Yates. And I'm Gaby Roslin. And yesterday we slaved away thinking of Prezi ideas for this man,
right,
because it is his very last day today.
The last day on the show. I'm very sad.
We were going to get him a record token. But after months of putting up with fantastically good-looking men every day,
which we don't like that slut, do we? Do we like that? We don't like that at all, do we?
For your last day, especially for you, a bevy of beauties.
Oh, no.
Christopher, just for you, those
only
girls.
four?
We'll tell you
Been here 2 years, you know.
Then the Goblin's going to whip you into a frenzy with his preview of Return to the Jedi.
And forget Sylvester Stallone, because we've got a real-life demolition man in the house.
Do you think he liked his present?
I think he liked it.
I think he possibly did.
Anyway, now it's time to go over to Peter Smith and the Big Breakfast News and Weather.
Good morning. These are the main stories on Thursday, September the 29th. Inquiry begins into Baltic ferry tragedy. Signal workers go to the phones in Union ballot. And United survive the Turkish inferno. A three-nation inquiry team is gathering in Finland as search teams resume their hunt for victims of yesterday's Baltic ferry tragedy. Nearly 800 people are missing, and hopes for their survival are practically nil. The Estonia went down hours after a Swedish safety official noticed a small fault on one of its loading ramps, but it's not thought on its own to have caused the disaster. Rail workers vote by phone today on the deal that's expected to end the signalman's dispute. Union members will quote a special security number before casting their vote, which is expected to be a resounding yes. Meanwhile, tomorrow's London tube strike may be postponed to allow more talks. Sinn Féin President Gerry Adams has clashed angrily with former Northern Ireland Minister Michael Mates. In the first meeting between Mr Adams and a leading Tory since the IRA ceasefire started, the two interrupted each other with barely concealed animosity in a TV interview in New York. School children are to be vaccinated against measles in a £2 million campaign aimed at battling an epidemic expected next year. It's hoped more than 7 million school children will be immunised. Dr David Salisbury from the Department of Health says many people don't realise the seriousness of the disease.
There could even be a considerable number of deaths unless we prevent this epidemic.
Airport medical officers have been disinfecting aircraft landing from India and checking for suspected plague victims. Further measures to screen passengers from India where pneumonic plague has killed at least 54 people are also being considered. Granada TV bosses are going to the High Court today to try to prevent the publication of a controversial book by former Coronation Street star Lynn Perry. They claim her book on life as the street's Ivy Brennan contains cruel and unkind references to other members of the cast. Cyndi Lauper is to star as an ugly gargoyle in a new Walt Disney movie, with the singers only providing the voice for a character in the new animated version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Manchester United's Champions League's match with Galatasaray passed with little incident on or off the pitch. Mark Hughes' overhead kick livened up the second half, and Peter Schmeichel was at his best to deny the Turkish club in their 0-0 draw. Austrian club Salzburg are demanding a rematch after claiming their goalkeeper was hit by a missile during last